It says that 7% of people actually achieve their goals, and that is a scary amount. That means 93% of people give up on their dreams. And as all teenagers, they will have their goal, but are you going to be the one that gives up on it? Well, clearly not. You're the one that clicked on this video who wants to improve on yourself. So if you stick around, I'll give you 6 main points that will help you improve mentally and physically and will hopefully achieve your goals simply. So if that all helps, then please subscribe and mean the one to me. And let's get into these 6 points. So the first thing that separates the 93% of teenagers to the 7% is mindset. Now I know it sounds cheesy, but think about it. 93% of teenagers literally get home from school, play games, go sleep, and obviously eat. But that's the main thing. They get up, scroll, school, game, that is it. But if you want to be different, then you have to have your head a bit more head down. You have to have a good mindset about everything. You know, having a good mindset is the first principle to getting forward in life. Like if you wanna, become rich, you're gonna have to read books, you're gonna have to do your research, you're gonna have to get in good shape, you're gonna have to be doing these things. And like I said, you don't have to have your life figured out, you don't have to have things figured out, but you have to have a good idea. You have to have something going for. It's okay to change your idea every so often, but you have to understand that if you want to have a life that no one else has, you have to put in the life that no one's willing to put in. So one day you've got a dream life and everything. That's what separates the 93% of people to the 7%. You have to have a good mindset and have to have belief in yourself and a good desire. And then once you've got that foundation, then you can move on to point number 2, which is learning other skills. So normally when it comes to, people, they normally say education stops when they leave school because, they got the basics. And yeah, that's right, school gives you the bare basics, the bare foundation. But afterwards, if you really want to get ahead in life, you need to be teaching yourself in your spare time. So it doesn't matter what your age is. So for example, if you're a teenager, they need to be developing these high income skills so you can one day develop. So like I said, read books, listen to mentors online and stuff. You don't have to be paying for these things. But you could be like going on YouTube, having these mentors, like even on TikTok. Go onto, you could follow those people, then go to the following section on TikTok and just follow these people. It'll get you in right mindset. Like I said, it comes down to point number 1, having the correct mindset. And then having the correct skills. So look, here's a list of skills that you could learn, and all of these can obviously develop into high income skills one day. But the thing is that you need to understand is you're young, so at this point in time it's important to learn skills, not about the money, but learn how to do these high income skills so one day it can scale drastically. So number 1 thing is, in your spare time, learn. And it doesn't have to be subjects from school. It could be like about money. If you want to learn about money, learn how to sell. If you want to learn, to be heard, then, learn how to, speak properly, learn to have more confidence, learn how to do these high income skills that can one day benefit you drastically. So that's point number 2. Part number 3, let's talk about money, shall we? Obviously, teenagers are obsessed with having money, to be able to say they have money. But it's not all about having just a normal part-time job or, a full-time job. It's not about that. You have to understand in 2025 and, across loads more years in the future, there's going to be other ways to make money. And for example, for me, I've started YouTube. That's a brand itself. You're trying to create a brand for yourself. YouTube, you can make money from that. Obviously, not quite yet. But right now I'm building a foundation to build a brand in the future. And that's one path you can take. Another path you can take is flipping digital products. You can do that. You can start a business online. You can do these different things. You can flip things. Like I said, you can go to charity shops. You can go to car boot sales. You can get stuff for a low price and then flip them. There's loads of different ways to make money rather than just going to a job. You can have side hustles. You could do this. You could do that. And like I said, the benefits of being so young, you could try these things out because you're not pinned down. You don't have no debt. So you can literally just go down there, you've got time, and you can just try these things out, see what works. Right now I'm trying YouTube out. You could just try everything, and as I said, it's 2025. There's millions of different ways to make money. So once you've learned, which is step number 2, learn how to make money. No. Step number 2 was literally just do research, and then point number 3 is use that research to make money. So research, digital marketing, you can do that for number 3, and then you can actually take that into process. So that's number 3. Point number 4, which is build your own brand. Now, not many teenagers around the world are doing this, but I think it's a great idea, and all teenagers should hold on to this if they have a good desire. And what I mean by build a brand is by putting content out there of something that you've learned, something for entertainment. Content is so consumed nowadays on different platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all these different platforms. And I think we should be taking advantage of it. So for me, I post 2 or 3 times a day. Like I said, might not get some views, might get views, might get followers. I don't care. Like I said, you're developing skills, you're building a brand up in time. So, you can look at loads of different people, as you can see right now. These people are posting, daily, like 4 or 5 times a day. And that's what I'm saying, you don't have to be as extreme. But I think that you should start putting content out there about what you're learning, put some information out there, because you don't know how big it can become one day. So start building a brand and just see where it goes. You can change it up one day. You don't have to be pinned to that. You can have a different channel. You can do this. You can do that. You can try loads of different things out. But I think a good foundation for a teenager is to build a brand, because the earlier you start, the bigger the reward is in the future. So start building a brand now. Point number 5, let's talk about your friends. Now, I'm not saying pick new friends, but be real with yourself. If you have a group of 5 people and only 3 of them are positive, then obviously pick, the other 3. Now, what I mean by positive is by if these people are really helpful for you, they're positive about you, they don't make you do things they don't want to do, they're, helpful about your dreams, they push you to be a better person, then all well, keep them, keep in contact with them and stuff. But with the other few people that aren't as such, so they use you, if you want to hang out, they won't, but if they're bored, then they'll be out with you. If they don't care about you, they just want stuff for them, then, kind of get rid of them, because they're kind of selfish in a way. And like I said, I'm just assuming here, but just be real with yourself. Like I said, you don't need to change up any of your friends, but just keep this in mind, and think about the ones which can benefit you the most and the most real with you, and the fake friends, slowly push them aside, or if anything, you can get rid of them. But just have this mindset of understand your circle, and you're not pinned to these friends, because people are like, oh yeah, I want to be with them, even though they're not nice. I've known them for ages, so if it was a bit wrong, getting rid of them. But you don't have to have this mindset. Just, like I said, you don't feel pinned. You don't have to be. Literally, just move on with your life a bit. Like I said, you still keep up with them as much, but you could just kind of distance that gap between you guys. But, if you have good supportive friends, make it a bigger bubble. Keep closer to them. And, expand your friendships, move around. But yeah, just understand that the people that you surround yourself influence you. So make sure you're surrounding yourself with the correct people. Now let's get on to the last point. Now, the final point, which is play the long game. Now, teenagers nowadays are addicted to having results now. They don't want to wait, and they just want results now. If they don't get the results, then they just simply move on really quickly. And that should not be you. You have to understand that this entire world is a waiting game. Okay, you don't get short success. Definitely, if it's really high risk, you don't get really quick success. The longer you wait, the big success normally. Obviously, there's a few occasions, but 90% of the time, the longer you wait, the longer you invest, the better. So understand that this entire thing is a waiting game. So, have discipline and understand that everything takes time. So if you don't get results immediately, don't give up and move on to the next thing. Have patience with things and let things just slowly build up. I don't know if you know about compounding, but at the start it might seem a little bit shaky, but then over time it starts to boost up. And that's where short night success comes in. No one sees it, they just see boom results. But if you do YouTube, for example, you see like hundreds of videos they've done, and then one night you go viral. That's a good example, okay? So you have to understand that, you have to invest in the long run, and you have to understand that you're not always going to get results immediately, but results will come if you put the effort in over time. Like I said, the results are always greater the longer you have to wait. So just remember that all these points make you a better person. So those are the 6 main points, and if you listen to all these correctly, then you'll 100% become a better person. And it's all good and well listening to this, but you have to understand that if you take this all into account and actually do these things, then you will become better. So I hope this all helps. Like and subscribe, it helps, and see you later. And here's the bonus tip. If you want to get really good mentally up here, then I suggest working down here as well. So go to the gym, get in a good shape, go for runs. Once you know that you're in a good shape, and if you're good mentally, then you're more or less unstoppable. You're going to feel really confident, and obviously confidence gets you loads of different places, and makes you feel a lot more better of a person. So if you want that extra step, then get yourself in a good body and look good physically.